Welcome to the Jagriti Yatra, Meet the Yatripreneur Google Hangout series. My name is Anand Krishna. I will be asking questions to our Yatripreneur today and moderating the discussion on your questions. You can use the Q&A tab on the top left-hand side to ask your questions, and I'll call them out after we finish with our Yatripreneur today. Also, before we get to our guest, if you want to be featured in these series, please drop a note to our producer Ashwin Yogesh at ashwinyogesh@gmail.com. That's all one word, ashwinyogesh@gmail.com. Today's Yatripreneur, we're going to Chennai. We are in the world of real estate and construction. Welcome to you, Deepan, aka Macha.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
So
Thanks
tell us
for
about
that.
Alankar Constructions, your enterprise.
Yeah, so Alankar Construction, yeah, it's almost like 4.5 years I started this business. And after I came to Yatra in 2009 as Yatri, I started this construction company.
Okay.
And
Ashwin, you got to put the slide so we can understand what exactly does Alankar do, and then Deepan can talk over it. Ashwin? Go ahead, Deepan. Why don't you talk about Alankar, what all it does, and Ashwin can put the slide in the meantime.
yeah, fine, okay. Okay, basically, we are into construction of residential apartments in and around Chennai. And
Yeah, go ahead.
And currently, I mean, like we are doing projects particularly in the southern part of Chennai. And my team consists of some 17 engineers,
Right.
and 2 accountants,
Right.
and 3 marketing people.
Right. Deepan, we'll come to your team in a bit.
Okay.
Can you see the slide on the screen?
I'm not able to see you very properly. Yeah,
Just click on Jagriti Yatra's. Just click on Jagriti Yatra, the box.
slide.
That's it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to go over the slide. That some of the different aspects of what you do is, like you can see, you acquire land and you build apartments, right? You could do that, or you go for redevelopment where you build on an existing property, right?
Yes.
Those are the two kinds of things that Alankar does, right?
Yeah.
Just to be clear for everyone, you are not a contracted builder. You don't build townships. You're not doing custom bungalows, and you're not in commercial space, right?
Yes.
So talk to us about what is the difference between the first and the second one, which is, how is it different?
I mean, you're asking acquiring the land and building apartments.
Yep. What is the difference between the two?
Acquiring the land means, I mean, like for doing any construction, you have to first acquire the land.
Right.
That is one way. And
Right.
other thing is like when there is already an existing building over there,
Right.
and you go and demolish the building, and
Right.
you start as a new project.
So which one do you prefer? What do you see out there more as far as business is concerned that is coming to you?
Both has its plus and minuses. Like acquiring a land and building on it is like more profitable.
Right.
And when it comes to the rebuilding on existing property, you get a good location basically. So you get a good location of that place.
Right. And what is the split do you see right now? I mean, do you do more redevelopment, or are you acquiring land and building more?
Almost equally I do. I mean, I do both land purchase, I mean like on wholesale, and also like do joint ventures. We call them as joint ventures because we take one land and we share the revenue between the landowners and the builder.
I see. And how does the sharing of the revenue happen? Can you give us a little more detail? What is the process?
Okay, the process is, say for example, I'm constructing like 5,000 square feet of space.
Right.
And once the construction gets over, we split up like 2,500 square feet and 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
So we split it in half, and we take equal profits.
I see. And then how do you search for these spaces? How do you come to know? Do you just go around the city looking for locations, or how do you get leads?
Lead is basically through land brokers and local contacts and all the existing clients' contacts. So it's basically like peer-to-peer contacts.
Right.
Sometimes, usually, I mean, like rarely we get lead online.
I see. So how did you get into construction, Deepan? You don't have a construction background, nor do you have a family business. So tell us. I think you started a little bit saying that after Jagriti Yatra,
Yeah.
this you started this. So walk us through the initial stages. How did you get into this?
Okay. In my college days, I was into more of this online marketing. So in 2008, 2007, there was like new media coming up, like online marketing, SEO. SEO means search engine optimization, and pay-per-click marketing. That Google AdWords and all you see, right, on the Google.
Right.
So
Right.
basically, I started like that. So in 2007, 2008, that was like coming up new, and those time there were not many people know all this stuff.
Right.
So I started to target real estate market with this new media. So I was helping a lot of builders and a lot of my local builders and all, promoting them in online, posting ads on classifieds, and making their making a website for them, and optimizing them, and doing pay-per-click marketing for them.
Right.
So that's how it started. And basically, I was doing marketing for this real estate companies.
I see. And then what made you, get on your own? When did you decide that, hey, I'm going to do this?
uh, Once I started marketing, I made enough contacts with these people. So I was already like 2 years doing this online marketing, and doing this new media marketing for them. And
Right.
I had made enough friends in that circle, and I understood the business very in a very deep way, because
Right.
I used to like talk to direct clients, and I used to talk to contractors, and I used to talk to a lot of builders. So I came to know about the business in a more deeper way. um, Basically, I believe in this kind of thing, like marketing is nothing but educating. So
Right.
when I started marketing, I wanted to educate other people. So for in order to educate other people, I really want to know the business very well. So I
Right.
started learning the business, just not in terms of like marketing, in terms of technical, in terms of the business overall, in terms of legal, in terms of other things and all. So I started learning the business in a more deeper way, and I made a lot of contacts with them. And once I came to Yatra, I mean, like I had this kind of like, why don't I start a new business? So at that point
Right.
of time, I just know this business only. I mean, like I don't have any other experience in other business and all. So I
Right.
had enough experience and enough contacts in real estate business. And
Right.
I thought, okay, instead of like selling their product, why don't I start selling my own product?
Right.
And with the help of my friends who are technically qualified as civil engineers and structural engineers,
Uh-huh.
they kind of like motivated me. I mean, like you can maybe like once you know the business as a business, the technical part can be handled by outsourcing it.
I see.
So I at starting I just started in this way.
So tell us about the first client. Did you do a land like you just started from a bare land, or did you just go for redevelopment? Went to somebody and said, "Give me your land, I'll redevelop it." How did you do it?
Yeah. First I did a joint venture only. That is a redevelopment of land only.
Okay.
So first three of my projects were like redevelopment of existing land. So they
Right.
had a old building, and
Right.
I had to demolish that, and
Right.
I have to share that profit with them.
But did you face the question from that first guy who said, "Hey, you don't have any business. Why should I do it with you?" Did you face that?
Yeah, because the first, because I didn't have any prior experience, or I don't have any prior brand name. So
Right.
I had a lot of problems, because this relationship is kind of complicated in terms of like legals and all. So
Right.
at the first they were like kind of scared of giving the land to me, but
Right.
later I mean like they got convinced. I was able to like kind of like convince them, because I know the business very well.
Right. But give us a problem that you faced. I mean, I'm just curious. What's the crazy thing that happened?
The crazy thing that happened was, first of all, I don't know the technical stuff. Okay, so I
Right.
was not very technically qualified for that. So
Right.
I had that problem. Then
Right.
in terms of legal, also Indian legal system has lot of complications. It's not that easy to
Right.
go and solve and all. So
Right.
hiring a lawyer and going about lawyers, and getting the land and getting the approvals, and getting I mean talking to the government attorneys, and and other problems like bribes and all, like giving a lot of
course. Right.
bribes to local people and
Right.
local politicians problems and
Right.
local community problems and everything, and even I have to go for the loans for like I have to go for bank loans, and I have to get the loan get approved
Right.
for building. So that was like a it was a very big challenge.
Right. Did the banks give you loan? I mean, because you didn't have any credit or you didn't have any existing money. What made the banks give you loan? I mean, isn't that a problem as well?
Yeah, that was a big problem. But generally, in our country, they don't give loans or CC or OD for real estate business. They
I
give loan
see.
for other business, but they don't give loan for real estate business. So
Right.
there are different types of loans. Like one is project loan, which, for example, if you have a land of your own and if you want to construct a building, then you can go as a project loan. But
I
when
see.
you do as a business, they won't provide loan to you. And if you want
So,
to buy an apartment, then you can go as a home loan. Yeah, yeah,
but you said you learned through experience. You also did a diploma, right? I mean, in construction. I mean, that was some formal knowledge you actually gained through education, right? Later,
yeah, yeah.
much later, right?
It was like almost some. Once I started only, I went for the course.
I see.
Because
I
the
see.
reason I went for the course because once I started the business, I was able to outsource the technical part to my to a project management company,
Right.
which was led by my friend, and
Right.
he's a very structural. I mean, like he's a structural engineer by profession,
Right. Right.
so he knows the stuff very well. But later, what happened
Right.
was like, I was supposed to interview a lot of engineers for my company, and I was forced to learn the technical part. So then I
Right.
went for diploma courses and other conference type
Right.
of courses and all, like
Right.
small courses and all, in terms of surveying, in terms of marking, in terms of
Right.
basics.
Right. Yeah, do you see the slide of the challenges? These are some of the challenges that you mentioned a little while ago. Can you click on the Jagriti Yatra box? Do you see the
Yeah,
list
I'm seeing
of
that.
challenges? So
Yeah.
some of the challenges that you talked about, can you share a couple of stories about, just pick a couple. Like, like I put Vastu, like, I mean,
Okay.
everybody who goes to buy a flat, I mean, what kind of crazy questions do you get from people?
Okay, this is a very crazy subject basically. Vastu is like is one of the very important criteria in buying a flat in India,
Right,
or even like constructing a home in India. So
right.
basically, Vastu people like in India. I mean, do you want me to elaborate the total full Vastu stuff?
Well, just share some crazy incident with Vastu.
Oh, a
I
crazy
mean,
incident. Okay, okay. See,
yeah,
for example,
yeah,
when a client comes, what happens is like, first of all, nobody has a clear idea what is Vastu is.
right,
Then what happens is like when they come, they just look for certain main stuff. They just look for the direction of the front door, which is
right,
whether south, north, or west. Then
right,
where the kitchen is positioned, like
right.
in India, it's supposed to be positioned in southeast or like northwest.
Okay,
And then where is the master bedroom, which is called the Kubera's place, where he used to keep money and everything.
okay,
Then
right, right.
the bathrooms and all, how the water flows, and how the water
I
gets
see.
drained out of your house, and where is your
Right,
well or like any bore and all, which place in the land, and also
right,
where is Agni Mula, that other mulas and everything.
right,
So I mean, there's a lot of confusion in generally when a client comes to for
right,
Vastu, and
right.
yeah,
Do you see them bringing an astrologer with them, or do you give them guidance yourself?
they bring astrologer with them. Sometimes
I
what
see.
happens is like they just go and they just start as a. See, for example, we believe in that this one, right? I mean, astrological sign, like
Right, right, right,
3 6
right, right.
Aries,
And the
something like that.
Rashi. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
Rasi.
Yeah.
So there'll be like astrological people who just say for this Rasi or for this astrological sign, only this type of door entrance. I mean, like this direction of door entrance will suit you.
Right.
And even like there is something called as like Manadi Sastram in South India. I mean, like even
Right.
North it exists. That is called. I mean, like the room has to be in certain feet. Like for
Right.
example, the bedroom has to be like for 11 feet. Then it can't be in 12 feet or 13 feet. Then it has to be at the level of 14 or 15 feet.
Right.
So the room sizes and all matters, and if the total plot area has to be like in square area or like rectangle area only. It can't be like having any
Do
course area and
you
all.
do you feel shaking your head, or do you have to respect everything and just keep quiet, or do you just say, you know what, this is too crazy? I mean, I'm not going to satisfy everything that you're listing. Do you feel that more
Yeah, I mean like it is sometimes it is like totally
random?
uh, yeah, totally random, and it's very difficult to convince the Vastu people and all, because they don't know themselves. They just like get some information
Right.
from some Vastu consultant or like Vastu people, and they just look in that perception. They don't know themselves, and they don't even like want to learn more about what is Vastu or like what is exact thing. They just totally
Right.
abruptly believe on what the Vastu consultant says.
So why can't you have an in-house consultant to, give your own version? That way, it's much
Uh,
easier for everybody, right?
that's not possible at all.
That's not possible, right? All
Yeah,
right.
that's
Well,
not possible.
since we're short on time, let's pick a couple of more challenges and just,
Okay.
give us the background, like skilled workers or quality, or,
Okay. See, basically, in terms of skilled workers, in India, I mean, there is not any proper training for like this masons or like plastering people or any sort of construction labor people.
right, right,
There are like certain companies like L&Ts or URC. These companies provide training
uh-huh,
for their own people only, for their own labels. So
right,
generally, there is not any proper certification, or like there is no any proper parameters that
right,
a mason or any plastering or like any construction worker can be trained or to be certified. So these people
right,
generally learn through experience. They just like join as helpers, and they just like promote to mason or like any fitter or helper like barbenders and all.
right,
And evaluating the skill is like very difficult, because frankly even it's very difficult because we don't know how to do it. Even like I can
right, right,
just
right,
know, I can literally know, I mean like what the productivity or like what is the outcome that mason can get, or like any bartender can get, but generally
right,
we don't
right,
have any hands-on experience, right? So
right.
evaluating them is like quite difficult.
Right. So let's go quickly to bribes as well. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that there's quite a bit of bribes involved. I mean, do you
Yeah.
see this all the time, or is the things changing? How give us an insight into how does this work?
Okay. In India, especially in terms of this construction area, bribe.
Huh.
I mean, like bribe plays a very major role,
Right.
because when you start to build a home, like for example, if you're building a home for yourself, or like you're starting a business to build home for others, like as a
Right.
builder, what happens is like you have to get the local municipality approval, and there is a lot of like a hierarchy of approvals. Like for example,
Right.
in Chennai, it comes under CMDA, and
Uh-huh.
under CMDA comes under like the local municipality, and the
Right.
another comes under town panchayat, and below it
Right.
comes panchayat. So there is a lot
Right.
of hierarchy of approvals in India, and
Right.
what happens is like when you go to any kind of like approval authority, generally I mean like without bribe you can't get your file get approved, because what they
Really.
ask is, yeah, that is, I mean like you can try any by any way. I mean like even if you're from a vigilance department, it's very difficult to like go and like kind of like threaten them.
It's really bad, right? It's really
Yeah,
bad
it's really
out
bad.
there,
I mean,
right?
like, and also they kind of like they don't like feel ashamed of asking money at all, and they ask money in very huge amount. I mean, like not in like thousands or like 500 or 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. They ask in lakhs and crores only.
So you have to negotiate with them on bribes as well, right?
No, there is a certain agents for these people. I mean, like they don't get
Really.
direct. Yeah, I mean, like there are these people comes to take money through agents only, because
Right.
they otherwise they'll be getting caught by a lot of other things.
Of course, of course. So that's good. You don't have to do a diploma in bribe management or something then. That's good, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to run ahead to the team. To do all these challenges and everything to build your enterprise, you also need a great team and, how to decide. Ashwin, can you go to the next slide? Ashwin, can you go to the next slide of the team? Yeah. So how do you decide how to structure your team? Because you talked a lot about outsourcing and partnering with other people. You also
Yes.
have to have a lot of people in-house. So
Yes.
how do you divvy up who's in-house, who's outsourced? What is the decision process, and what kind of people do you have in-house?
Okay. See, when generally this construction and if you're building a home, generally it takes almost a lot of people to work into it. So
Right.
it's not a one-man job. I mean, like you have to involve a lot of people. Um, in terms of my in-house team, I have a project manager. I have like
Right.
accountants. I have like quantity surveyors, engineers, and
Right.
as is mentioned, like gang leaders, skilled workers, and marketing,
Right.
sales, everyone. And outsourcing, as it's mentioned, like architects, lawyers, structural engineers, plumbers, painters, water
Right.
and so on. So basically, I learned. If you want to tell my experience, see, for first 2 years I was not able to hire accountant uh, because I didn't have money.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I was not able to. I didn't get a thought of like appointing an accountant because I had my own fear. Because I mean, like accountants, if like such a huge money is handled by accountant,
Right.
there'll be like a lot of misuse and malpractice happens. And
Right.
similar way, I was not able to pay some 20,000 bucks, so yeah, 20,000 rupees to an accountant and keep in my team because I started like very slow. When I started my first business, there was first project. There was no engineers. Only I was there,
Right.
and there was no accountants. There were no quantity
So you
surveyors.
slowly build up.
Only
You slowly
yeah,
built
I
up.
slowly built up.
Right.
So
And then,
there
but
were
who's
there
a
were no
quantity
people like that.
surveyor? Just to clarify, who's a quantity surveyor before we get too
Okay.
far ahead?
See, the quantity surveyors are generally people who do the cost estimation and make sure that the estimated cost is matching with the regular activity.
Right.
So they do also reconciliations. So for example, like if I'm doing a foundation work and
Right.
the foundation work is costing me some 10 lakhs,
Right.
and how the 10 lakhs comes, for example, like in terms of material, in terms of the overhead charges, in terms of labors, in terms of raw
Right.
materials.
Right.
So we measure in terms of cubic meter or like cubic feet or
Right.
square feet or square meters.
Right.
So basically, these people they do the cost estimation part and make sure it is and make sure the project is running within the limit of the cost estimated.
Right. Now, you feel that you have a team now in place after slow growth. You have everybody that you want in-house right now in Alankar.
Uh, Not really. I mean, still there are a lot of people. I mean, like a hoist. There are still a lot of people are missing in my team because I run a very small company only. Even though I have like almost 300 employees in my 300 laborers in my company, but still
Right.
it's not that big.
It's a pretty small team,
Yeah,
right?
it's a pretty
Now, you came as a new generation guy. You came as an outsider here. You learned this business. What are
okay.
some of the innovations that you are bringing in? Because there are a lot of family businesses. There are a lot of like old guys, doing
Okay.
this for years and years. What are
Mhm.
you coming in as a new generation business? Like you're a young guy. You're
Okay.
coming from outside the industry. What are some
Okay.
of the innovations that you are bringing in? So just very
Uh,
quickly, yeah.
First of all, to be frank, I mean, like doing innovation in construction business, it's not that easy because first of all, the cost factor is like very high.
Mhm.
So doing anything changing or like doing some innovation is like quite challenging, and there's a lot of
Right.
innovations coming up, but nothing is like very successful actually. Like affordable housing is there, even like there are some IIT projects which deals with low cost housing and all, but
Right.
nothing is proven as the regular practices.
Right.
So
Right.
innovative because since I'm also not technically like a civil engineer or a structural engineer,
Right.
I can't be like kind of like experimenting with the technical part of it
Right.
because I'm not very qualified for that.
Right.
And
But
in
you
terms
can,
of
but you
yeah,
can experiment with the human part, right? I mean, you can bring these people together because a lot of times people work in their own little bubbles, right?
okay. Uh, Generally innovation because see the point is I want to give better quality. Nowadays the quality is not well maintained in construction industry. That itself a big challenge. Maintaining quality in the construction industry itself a very big challenge because many people who start as me, I mean like as a small big companies they do it because they have a lot of people for quality check and everything. But people like me, like there are a lot of people. I mean, like hundreds of people, thousands of builders like me, like doing small scale projects, and they don't maintain quality because as a builder, I mean, like we have, I mean, like we generally. All our time just goes on like legal stuff, advocates, and dealing with other the legal part, marketing part, and also the promotional part and everything. So generally, I mean, like paying attention for the technical stuff. I mean, like people totally kind of ignore that. So and also once we outsource a lot of things, what happens is like the quality is not well maintained, and there's lack of lot of skilled levels in our industry, because since this industry has become a market now, the type of materials has been the quality of materials has been like quite reduced. I mean, like not only in terms of like labor and other things, the material quality itself, like in terms of like cement, sand, in terms of bricks, in terms of like steel, the quality is quite reduced. So in terms of innovation, generally, frankly, to be frank, I don't do any kind of innovation. My motive is to like provide very quality building, and so that like I can build a good brand out of, from my company.
And where are you seeing yourself in 5 years? I mean, today you are 300 and a small builder. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, maybe. At present, the market is not quite good. Okay,
I see.
So I don't know exactly like where I'll fall after 5 years, but so there is no steady market. I mean, like the real estate market is quite down now.
Quite volatile, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, because the demand is like kind of like the demand is less and the supply is more. That is what happening in the industry nowadays. And if I want to tell where I see myself like in 5 years, maybe I'll be having a bigger team. And I'll be like having more number of laborers and employees, and maybe like I can scale my projects. Like if I'm doing some 10 to 12 projects now, so maybe like after 5 years I'll be doing some bigger projects. Like I'm doing some small projects. Like maybe like I'll be doing some townships or like 100 homes, like 200 homes like that.
Oh, I see. Awesome. So what are some of the personal lessons you have learned, in the last 4 years of your business?
Personal lessons. Okay. Personal lessons. First of all, I mean, you have to like kind of learn a lot. I mean, you have to keep your learning part of you very active, because the industry is like changing very fast. Every industry is changing very fast, and for being an entrepreneur, I think like you have to have your hands on a lot of different departments. Like for example, I have to see my accounts department, I have to see my sales department, my marketing department, and also my technical department, and also the other areas and all. So you have to keep on like learning. So generally, when I started my business, when I don't know a lot of technical stuff, what I did was like I just like went to Amazon.com. I just like bought books, like some 5 to 6 books on technical each area. Like for example, what is basic of accounting, what is accounting, then cost estimation, surveying, then building construction, then structures, then every department I used to like buy a lot of books. I mean, like see their ratings. Then I learned from that, and also like I talked to a lot of technical people, and also talked to a lot of already established builders and learn from the experience. And I attend a lot of courses. I keep myself updated and like going for like construction conferences and this paper presentation and everything and all. So
that's awesome. Go ahead.
So basically, I feel is that the learning should you have to like simultaneously you should do a learning. Like for example, each and every day, I mean like 1 hour to 1.5 hours you have to spend just for learning itself. At least starting a business.
But how do you when so many challenges you face across so many things, how do you keep the passion alive for this? I mean, people get burnt out. People say, I've had enough, I'm walking away from this. How do you keep yourself going?
I mean, like the passion is like you have to do a business. That itself. That is one of my passion actually. I mean, like you have to do the passion, and have my loans. So that is also a motivation for me. A lot of loans are there for me, and Uh,
Any particular person that you look up to that inspires you all the time?
I read a lot of business authors, like Brian Tracy is there. I mean, like these people are like who are like very good business. I mean, like they started from very scratch, from a zero level. Then
Right.
they become a very big people. So there are like certain authors, mentors I follow, and in terms of marketing, in terms of construction, in terms of other
Right.
sectors. So I have like
Right.
yeah, I have like a lot of mentors whom I look up to.
Great, man. Great. I'm going to open it up to if anybody else has questions to ask. Does anybody else have question? Please do ask. Just unmute yourself and ask. Yeah, go ahead, Prashant.
Acha,
Yes, Machi.
so you should be frank for my question.
I'm not able to hear you properly. Come again.
Could you, could you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, how much money did you earn in last 4 years?
What kind of question is that? What kind of question is that, Prashant? Hey, this is going to be new to
Right?
Maybe
No,
like, I can tell you.
that's a very important and relevant question, because if I have to go to business, I should know like how is running, how is going.
See, I mean, instead of telling a profit exactly what is the profit, I can tell you my transaction. Maybe like last year my transaction was like 25 crores.
Oh, awesome.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Any other questions?
So do you have, I mean, it's good to have a joint venture or else like something like yours where you develop everything on your own, because if you give cost to other companies or else like if you are joint partners, the risk is low and the cost is also low, right? I mean, forget about the profits for now.
Okay. Yeah, joint venture is like quite safe also. Yeah, as you said, I mean, like you can split up the cost of the construction, and you can at least you can start very fast. So instead of like looking for a big investment, you can start very fast with the joint venture. But I mean, you have to be very good with the numbers. Generally, I mean, like not only construction. I mean, like for any business, I mean, like you have to be very careful with the numbers. If you fail your numbers, I mean, like you fail the business. So the numbers and the calculations are very important in any business.
So another thing you said is like you don't get leads from property portals, and many of the businesses depend on the property portals, right? So how do you tell about it?
I don't say I don't depend on property portals. I mean, like property portals means you say as like 19 acres, like India property.
Yeah,
Okay.
or some
No,
other party.
no, we do depend on property portals because I mean, like when a person comes online and search on the internet, say for example, like flats for sale in Chennai or flats for sale in Bangalore. Generally, what happens is the first results are like almost like classifieds, like India Properties, Suleka, Makan, and every classified just comes up, and definitely, I mean, like you have to be in the property classifieds and all. Otherwise, I mean, like you won't reach the people. And but once what happens is like when a customer I mean like submits its lead, his number or phone number, the closing is like it's totally different area to be talked, because you get the leads, but still I mean like converting them, it's totally a different it's totally different topic, I could say.
Sai, we can take this conversation offline. Deepan, I'm out of time. So just
Okay.
as a last question, how do people reach you? Is there a website or email address in case they want to, either buy a flat or just want to talk to you?
Okay, there is a website of mine that is called www.alankarconstruction.com,
Right?
and my email ID is info@alankarconstruction.com. But
All right.
my website is like I'm kind of like redoing my website now. Totally, I'm kind of like changing my website and everything. So
Right.
it will be like active within some 1 week.
Great, man. Great. No problem. Though, I mean, is there a Jagriti Yatra discount for all the flats and from Alankar?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Yay. All right, Deepan, thanks a lot, man. That was a great insight into your business, your journey. I mean,
Yes.
I wish you the best from Jagriti Yatra. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anand. I mean, like, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Deepan.
Yes. Bye bye.